Hello and good morning. Let's get this. There we go. Hello and good morning. Welcome, friends. Welcome, developers. I am the host, Blabag. So, since the last video, I apologize I didn't get a few other ones out in between, but since our last video, I made a couple of little changes to the way my skills and the way that my quest data has been sent to my backend. I just more or less implemented the way that on my game server how it would function. Um, and then I also realized that I've got a few other spots that I need to uh, sort of catch up on. So, such as when my world connects, it's still connected to the old system. um, when my I got a couple of other things with the Discord that is pulling from the old system, so I want to make sure that when I launch this game in 5 days, yikes, that I have all my ducks in a row. I want to make sure that my penguins are lined up, but no one's out of order. So there's a few other things that we got to do. Um, First and foremost, I need to switch away the way that my Discord is my Discord thing is client is requesting data, as well as my world network interface that I have right now, which you'll see in a moment, is very outdated. I think I wrote that maybe 2.5 years ago. It was something that I pieced together fairly quickly to just be able to make communications back and forth. It wasn't exactly designed the best, it wasn't exactly implemented the best, but this is why we're doing some refactoring. Uh, this is why I'm refactoring my own code. This is why we're looking at monolithic projects and breaking them into services. So let's shrink up my head. Shrink me down. Put me up in the corner there. There we are. And let's have a look. So, and for those of you wondering, I do have multiple screens. I actually have, this is one of the reasons I love IntelliJ. I have this set up on my other screen so that I can see my endpoints. I was asked one time why I like Spring Boot, or why I like IntelliJ, sorry. I love IntelliJ because I'm a Spring Boot developer. I can run all of my services through a service tab, which is why I pay for the Ultimate Edition. I can have access to all of my endpoints. I can sit here and choose the different modules. Let's pull this over. So I can sit here and I can choose the different types of endpoints I want to look at. I can choose the different modules that I want to listen on. So if I'm only looking to work with Discord, we'll take Discord in there too. Because if I'm only looking to work with, oops, it's going to select. So I can come in here and I can select multiple modules that I want to work with, and they'll all be there versus just having everything there. I can come in and choose the frameworks, whether I want to be working with just the Spring MVC controllers, whether I want to be using the functional roots, whether I want to be using some HTTP exchanges. I can choose to see here what I want to see versus seeing everything. Because maybe I don't want to see everything, maybe I just want to see this. So it's a great little. There's lots of reasons why I love IntelliJ, and honestly, I push it. If you aren't using IntelliJ and you're a developer, like, what's wrong with you? Use IntelliJ. All right. Also, not only that, but like I can just middle mouse click and hop and see where everything is at. So, for example, this is what's using my old system, which will be deprecated after I get this updated. Um, And so now I can see that I have the world network interface, Discord client. Kingdom network is something that I'm going to be rewriting in the near future. It's going to be post-release of my game, but it's essentially a way where people can actively manage their own kingdom and people and farmers and yada yada, all from Discord without having to log into game. And you can get the rewards from that for in-game things like crystal keys and clue scrolls and items, resources, money. Um, it's a fun little thing that brings Discord into RuneScape's or into the private server world. Um, I also have trade post alerts. So like essentially, if somebody makes an off, like it's like somebody makes a sale and I'm offline, somebody buys some of my shit and I'm offline. Um, this is a way to send me a DM that hey, somebody just bought your stuff. You've got a little bit of money in game. Go get it. But then I also have the Discord clients, which uses for grabbing the user, grabbing their access, sending direct messages, which is something that you can do. You can send a player a direct message, and yeah. The system messages, which is more or less just like alerts. So I got to clean up the Discord client, the world network interface. If we have time on this live stream, we're going to touch on this trade post one as well. If we're still here at the end, I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on my updater. I've recently decided to change how my client gets updated. So it used to use an outdated launcher that checks recent versions and remote versions and local versions, and if there's a difference, it updates the client, and it kept people up to date for my game for a while. But now I'm looking to update it so that there's this launcher that pops up, gives you the option to fix the cache, update the game, or straight out launch it if everything's up to go. Keeps you the little version number in the corner so you know what your local version is. Yeah, if you want to stick around with me to the end, if we're still around after we reformat some of this code, then we will totally we'll totally dive into that as well. So let's dive into our Discord client. I do have a Boneyard Discord client that I started that was utilizing alerts. However, that's only going to be good for this and this messages, which if we scroll into here, it'll be only good for that and this. Well, we have system messages, which we don't have an implementation for on our back end, so we'll have to actually write that. Okay, that'll be kind of fun. I totally forgot about that. Although this is technically, what is this message? A recipient Discord. Okay, yeah, that's so that I can send a direct message to us. Okay, so yeah, no, we will use that because we'll need that. Okay, so I have to rewrite that and add it into the backend when we get there. But for now, this message, or this method, we're gonna copy this, go into our Discord client, drop it in here, because then we're gonna refactor it. This is going to be a static method to send a Discord direct message. We are going to be utilizing, where is that going to? Discord alerts. The parameter type. Okay, and this will be alerts this message. Okay. So we are going to be making another post very similar to this. We're just gonna copy this and copy that because we're using a try with resources here. Taking the alert, which is essentially the same thing. We're doing the body, which is going to not be the alert, but instead it's going to be that the message. don't like the way I'm doing that. So now that I'm doing this in more than one spot, string, just going to call this API key, and it's going to be equal to central server dot get central server dot get property. And I'll fill that out in a second. Now this is going to be filled in. Whoop, whoop. There we go. That'll be filled in like that. And essentially we're taking the same damn thing, putting it down here. And this is going to be the base URL alerts, and we're just going to concat the one thing, which is going to be slash disk message. Okay. That's going to be the build of our post. We're passing it in as boom, add the body. Perfect. So next, what I'm going to do here is var response equals piss off. There we go. So now if I get rid of this response, everything else still works the same. Yeah. So now I have the response, which will be the closable client. Closable HTTP response. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I have the response, and if the response is not null, and I happen to have a profiler running of debugger, then it will print out some debugging information. Otherwise, it's just gonna go through, do its thing, and yeah. So we're sending it. That's how I'm refactoring that to send a Discord direct message. So now I just need to see where this is being used. It's right here. And we can go ahead and call this the Boneyard Discord client.send Discord message. And it's going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. So back in the client, this no longer has a use. This can go away. Alright, so here we have it looking to get the Discord users and that is going to 84. I'm just making sure that this is going to the right service. Discord 84, okay. So it's going to here. Okay, perfect. Alright. So now, what are we doing? Inside of the Discord client, just gonna have a quick peek, and I really am sorry for the poor lighting. I just noticed now that if I move from one side to the other, my lighting goes to shit. I'm really sorry. I've got very bad lights in this room. I am gonna be switching my office to another room now that my roommate's gone. If you haven't heard about that, check my last video. But now I'm gonna be moving my office to a better room with better lights, better setup, better this, better everything. So I'm hoping that it's gonna be better for streaming. I hope it's gonna be better for videos, because I don't want to be always doing these videos with like shady lights. Like I lean to one side, you can't see me. I apologize for that. It's just poor lighting in this specific room that I'm in. So yeah, so here we're looking to get a Discord user, which is used 4 times. So, and it only returns a Discord DTO, or Discord user DTO. So let's see how we can refactor this to work with our... Let's go ahead and copy this. We'll jump into our Discord client. I really may need to change that from Discord alerts. Because this is going straight up to Discord, which has a few. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to change this to just Discord. Down here, we're going to do this, and we're going to actually concat another string into here, which is going to be bot alerts. Because apparently I didn't even have their proper path in there. So bot slash alerts. And what was this? Just a straight up Discord alert. Okay, no, so that is just alert. Sorry about that. So that is alerts, and then we're passing in a type. Yeah, no. Okay. This is why I'm a little confused, if you're wondering. Let me just pull this over. If you're wondering why I'm a little confused, I'm looking here at this API, which is Discord alert, which is in the alert controller, and then there's Discord bot alerts that takes a parameter type, which I think is the one that I'm actually looking for, because if we pop in here, API alert, and yes, the parameter value of type. So that is the one I'm looking for, is bot alerts type. Sorry about that, it just had a slight confusion, but this is, again, this is why I love having the Ultimate Edition, because it lets me see what the hell's up. And I'm totally a JetBeans advocate. Alright, JetBeans. Wow, JetBrains. I'm thinking of fucking spring beans. Oh, I haven't had enough coffee today. Alright. So, Discord, bot, alerts, and no, okay, Discord alerts, because that... Why do I have this one? Okay, I've got two different things because they're two different. Yes, okay, one's the bot that is. Okay, sorry, this is an internal call. Why is that one showing up inside of this one? Okay, so these two shouldn't even have been showing up in here because they're actually out of a different module altogether. That is my confusion. Okay. So inside of here is the one I want. So it's just straight up Discord alerts. Discord slash alerts, yes. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Just getting things confused. You ever been confused about your code? Hit that thumbs up. I get confused about my own shit all the time. Alright, so now we're running down Discord direct message. That's cool. This one's cool. What was the thing I was stealing? Getting the user. Copy that. Come in here. And let's drop this in here. We'll call this a static void. Oh, sorry, static method. And from here, what are we doing? Try with. We're gonna copy over this here. Try. Let's try with bit. Response. We'll get to that in a minute. This is again a host, I believe. Get a Discord user. Nope, to get. Okay, so we'll get that. And this is again why I love IntelliJ. See this? Look at that. Oh my god. Everything right there. I'm going to be making this GET request. And that was pretty easy. So I don't need that anymore. So I'm making a GET request to, where am I going? Discord slash, this is a straight up username. I'm looking for, do I not have a method type by username? I've got a way to get my accesses, but it does not appear that I have a way to get a straight up registered user. Okay. So that's going to be something we're going to have to create. Let's take a look at this. So I've got a way to get Discord access. I have a way to get a user by an ID. However, I don't have a way to get a user by a name. I'm just going to call it player to separate the two. The string is going to be that of name. And find Discord user. Look at that. We do have this, so we'll... That's cool. We do have it, so we'll come back into the Discord user controller. We'll switch this out to be here, switch this out to be name. Get rid of the wrapping. And what's up with this now? String user is already defined. It's string. Okay, well, this will be get player. No, this will be get user. Get Discord user by name. There we go. Not that the method name really matters too much. I mean, in this specific situation, I should clarify. It does and it doesn't in this specific instance. Alright, so let's, now that we have that, name and player, so this is now going to be in a Discord user slash v1 slash Discord, and this should be slash player name. There we go, and we're passing in that we want you to accept the application JSON, content type, and the API key. Passing in as well. So next thing we want to do is make a response, which is going to be, if I just copy this, we're just going to do this and change that to get. And there. So now that's going to do the same thing as it did before. If the it's going to execute it, get the response, check the status. If the status is okay and everything is okay, then why am I doing that? Should be doing Web-based Studios network interface. This is going to need to get changed again. But there we go. So we're going to snipe the getting the mapper, because there's no reason that we need to have need to be creating a new one every time. That's just ridiculous. Alright, so other than that, we're mapping that back to the JSON, to the right thing. Otherwise, we're going to throw out, I'm going to say a system out. No, I'm going to say system error. Whoops. Throw out an error that it was an unknown response, and we'll just tell ourselves what the response was. Make sure to, if there's any issues, we're logging it. And I mean, print out the error message otherwise. Okay, so now this has no uses, but we're going to come into here, which has 4 usages. So let's take a look. Login verification, central server, Discord network. No, we're just going to go to the Boneyard, Discord client, and get. Make it that easy. Alright, so now jump out of there. Now we have 3 usages. We'll come into here, the player profile, Discord user. We're going to go ahead again and just replace that. Discord user, we're going to go ahead and replace that. There's probably a better way to be doing this. Discord user ID, assert that the Discord. Okay, yeah, that just wants to make sure that we're not null. So drop out of there, and now this only has 1 use. Discord network here, which is sending the direct message. Okay. Let's get user this. Okay, so Discord client. So if I just say that, Discord network is not used at all. No usages. Okay, so we can get rid of that. There. Now we out of the socialist. Get out of the back into the Discord client. This no longer has a use. We can get rid of it. Next thing we need to do is refactor this. Getting the string from, getting the access rights from a user. So we'll hop back over here. This again is going to be a static method. So we're going to come down. I'm just going to start this off as static. Paste that in. And we're looking here again to copy. This is going to be just a straight up get. Okay, so I don't know if I need the player's name or not, but screw it. I'm going to take it anyway. Alright, and now this is supposed to be a get to the accesses. So this is again going to be /name, and instead of player, it is accesses. Yeah. So now we're looking to see here what the accesses are, and again, we're just going to go ahead and HTTP client execute the get, and that will be the closable response, to which if the status is okay, we're just going to simply return this string. Otherwise, we're going to say that there was an error. Again, I'm going to change this to error. Just doing a couple of corrections there. I do apologize. So now we have this getting the user access, so we can come back over here, check where this is used, shorten this up, and for those Windows users of mine, Windows key and the letter V brings up a past history or clipboard history of what you've copied. So if you've copied previous things, you can always go back into the clipboard to see what you have. Life hack. We'll just call it that. So now back in the Discord client, this is no longer used. That can be removed. Sending a Discord system direct message. This is a dissect message, which we do not have. Unless that's within my specific bot. This message. No, it's not. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to create into the other file. What? Joys of a live stream. I have a wolf over here asking me to go outside to pee. For those of you who see me from time to time, this is my wolf. He wants to go pee. I'm in the middle of a stream, dude. So my dog seems to want to go out. So I do apologize. My wife is not awake at the moment to do that. So before he starts barking and for all intents and purposes gets very loud and annoying on the stream, I will be back in just a moment. I just gotta throw the wolf outside. Yes, your sassy ass. You walks in here with his head all high, proud, like he just heard what I was gonna do. Alright, guys, I'll be back in a moment. For all of you dog lovers out there, you want to take a moment, let your dogs out. Yeah, I gotta go. I'll be right back, guys. He wants to go pee. So, if you have a dog, hit that thumbs up button. Alrighty, I do apologize for that. Once again, my puppy dog just needed to go out, and I really do not like the lighting in this room. Aha! Alright, so looking back at this is the last thing we have to do for Discord is to we have to write a um but for all intents and purposes, let's take this, jump into our client. This is going to be a post method. It's also going to be a static void. I believe it's a post. Yes, make a post. And I honestly don't really care about the reply. So in here we're gonna paste in our client. Since we're making a post, I'm gonna make it so we're gonna require an API key for this. Okay. And this is going to be alerts slash sys message. I do need the body, which is going to be the system alert. And we're going to add that on at the bottom as an entity. And I don't so much care about the response. Yeah, I don't really care about the response. I'm just going to make that straight up post. So now we have to write this endpoint and make it, of course, do something. Which, of course, by the looks of it, is just going to take an. It looks like it just takes in a Discord ID and a message. So it looks like when I make the controller to accept it and the handler to handle it, It's just going to be utilizing the Discord services or the actual Discord bot. Yeah, it's going to have to just more or less forward that to our bot. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to make that forward off to our bot, and we will, much like I'm doing with the other Discord alert messages, we'll just hand it off to our bot, which will take care of fetching the user from the guild, opening up a direct message conversation with them, and sending this message. Now, the idea of these type of messages, this system messages to a direct user, is more of a security thing. So, for example, if somebody tries to log into my game and the login attempt fails X times, if they're a verified user, like they've linked their Discord to my game, then they're going to be able to receive a Discord message saying, "Hey, somebody's trying to log into your account. They failed X times." Same idea with I have plans to implement if a new MAC address has logged into your account, if a new IP address has logged into your account, send you a direct message saying, "Hey, you seem to have logged in from a new location," or "Hey, you seem to have logged in from a new device." So let's get at it. So we need to make a system direct message, which I'm not exactly sure. Let's pop over to here. This we can minimize for now. We're looking at the Discord alert controller. This would be the one on my this side, because this is where we're taking in the alert here, and we're just simply handing it off to our bot. So we're quite literally going to be doing the same thing. So I'm just going to copy paste. It's going to be a Discord system alert, which is a dissect message. Do I have a dis? Oh, this. Dissect message. Look at that. I've already added it. All right. So get a little closer to my thing so I can actually see things. And let's have a hello. How are you? Welcome, Lum. So having a look here. We don't need that parameter in there because we're not taking in. Yeah, that doesn't matter. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. This is going to just be bot alerts /sys message. And I'm going to be forwarding along the API, the this, the that, the alert that's coming in. I'm going to be forwarding that. And I just straight up don't care for a bodiless entity. I just want a response code to know whether or not everything was sent. Cool. And to differentiate these, I need to add, need to add a value in here just so that we're differentiating these between one thing and another, because they're technically coming in basically both as a post request, but we can't have two post requests doing two different things coming into the same domain, if you will. I am going to be doing a video series soon. It's going to be a pre-recorded video series to start. It's going to be the basics. I'm going to be explaining things with a Spring Boot application as the base project. I'm going to be building a project that is going to help, hopefully, help people understand the basic things. Like, for example, what the JDK is, what the JRE is, what the difference of those are, what a whole bunch of acronyms are, what it means to do things with TDD or test-driven development, what it means to do things in an OOP manner or object-oriented manner. We'll talk a little bit about some of the common design patterns and what they are, how we do things, but also I'm going to be breaking down and explaining the basics. What's the difference between a float and a double? What the hell are they? What is an integer? What is a byte? What is the difference between a byte and an integer, and a short and a double and a long? All those confusing terms. I'm going to make a beginner's level video kind of explaining everything. Explain to you what it means to do things in an object-oriented manner so that you can design your code in a better, with a better idea of what's going on. So if you want to learn some of the basics, by all means hit that subscribe button, and once I release it, you'll be the first to know. Turn on that notification bell so you can get a little ping. We all like getting a ping every now and again. It's like getting poked. Alright. Might be a little fun here. So, yeah, so we're going to accept in this other alert, and because this is going to be a sys message, I'm pretty much just going to call this sysmess, I guess. We're just going to call it sysmessage. So now if I go back over here, and we come into here, we're sending this into alerts slash sysmessage. Yeah, okay, we'll just copy that. Apparently I already named it. So we'll just correct that. So now that's going to go to alerts sysmessage, and it'll get passed off to our from here it'll get passed off to our alert controller. So now we go over here to our, this is our bots alerts controller. So because we have one for this message, we are going to more or less copy and paste this one, sending a direct system message. And this is going to be a sys message. There we go. Get recipient Discord. That would be the Discord ID of the user. So now if the user is null, there was no recipient found. Otherwise, we're going to build a an offline message. We are actually going to call this we'll call it the phone line message. This is going to be a system message. The description. This is an so this is now going to do that. New embed message, DTO, standard. There we go. And I don't need a reply button because this is just an alert. Open up a private channel, send this. I don't need an action row. And then there. So now when somebody gets a Discord this system message. That is going to be very simple to now just pass it along, fire it off, and they will get a message in their inbox saying whatever the hell Discord message was, whether it be, you know, somebody's trying to log into your account, someone's doing this, whether it's a direct message from the actual from the system security, whatever it's going to be. Now we have a way to send that off, fire it open, and alert our most important thing, our people. So let's hop over back into our here. So now this new message, we need to hop back over here and see where this one's taking place, which is, of course, if the yeah, okay. So the failed attempts, and if the failed attempts are greater than 3 and the player is verified, which means they have been synced up with Discord, then I'm going to go ahead and send a direct message to them saying that your account has just had failed login attempts. So this is where we're getting the user, the sys message, and then we're making it. So we're just going to copy Boneyard client, take this, drag it right over, and replace it. Done. Sending the system direct message. Perfect. Back into Discord client. This no longer has any uses. That is now useless. This is now a useless class. This has 2 implementations. One, because it apparently extends the Discord client, so we can fix that. This has 1 more use. Discord network, which has no uses, so we can straight up get rid of this. This has no more usages, so we can get rid of that. Back into the Discord client, this has no uses. Okay, the client, the class itself has no uses. So we're going to hit on this select open file to be directly taken to here, and we're going to delete our old Discord client. So now we've completely just refactored and reformatted our code to get rid of that old-fashioned way of using it, and now we're sending these messages through our new system in a much in a different fashion. It's going to be more maintainable. This file here now also has absolutely no usages. Just to double check that, I'm right-clicking on it just to make sure it has nowhere that's being called, nowhere it's being called. So this poorly designed client can be removed as well, relieving us with just this here class that has a few more usages. So now again, this is our old endpoint that we were building on. So if we now click on here, the only place we have left is the world. So this is when the world logs into my backend or logs into the universe. So let's just stretch this out so we can see what it says. Yeah, so we have connecting, we have when we're logging out, and we have when we're updating the world. Updating the world just more or less updates the population or the amount of players that are on it, so that later on I could stick that on my website or web app so that people can be like, ooh, look at that, there's X many people online. Or I can make a Discord bot /online, and it'll tell you how many people are online the game, or maybe I can make it so that it changes up my Discord status so that one of my channels tells you how many people are online right now, and because of limitations, you can only do that every 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I think it is. But either way, it'll be able to give people a representation of who's online so they can see, like, oh, there's a few people actually on game. Cool, I'm going to log in and play with them. Subconsciously motivation. No. So next thing we got to do is hop over to this world client, and we basically want to do everything we just did, but refactor this. And okay, this is still used in a couple of places. Again, I don't know why. See, this is why I have too much shit on the go, and this is why I need to refactor my things, because I have this, which extends this, which my last thing I just deleted extended that and did the same damn thing. It created a client. Like, don't work high. Good morning, Steven. Welcome to the party, my friend. Hope you're doing well today, dude. Alright, so, so our world network. That's what I gotta grab too. This is the other reason why I love IntelliJ, because like, if you want to be sure that you have something spelt right, it's going to give sort of, if you see this little way that it's highlighted when I click on it versus a normal string, if you get a parameter right and if it's actually right, it'll have this little tinted highlight to it. But not only that, if you hover over it for a second, it'll tell you what it is. And you can actually middle mouse click on to go right directly to that property file. Some of the reasons I absolutely love IntelliJ and preach it to any developer, because it will make your life so much easier. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, and I'm just gonna paste it. Maybe I'm not copying it. Okay. I'm gonna copy this, paste it in here, and this is going to be a world client. Okay. Because we don't need those. We do, however, need these two things. So, now this is going to be to the world service. So our world service runs on port 8086. So we're gonna make a slight change there. As well, because we're now working with the world service and not the and no longer the Discord service. We got to make sure we're going to be going to the correct endpoint. So we got to go to universe/worlds, and then we'll make the appropriate getters on there, because this one is going to just simply this has a two post methods, a put method, a get, and two get methods. So I really need to just get a joint. That's slow for this. Anyway, so let's go into here now. And first thing we need to do, let's close out of our close out of all of these other things that we have open. So we want to make a way to request the Boneyard, request a connection to the Boneyard world. So we're going to copy this into our new one. This is going to be a static method, and I have no rhyme or reason for those wondering on why I'm doing these as static. I have no rhyme or reason for that. To be fully transparent, I am just doing it that way. There we go. Make sure we have that, import the class. So, alright, so we're gonna make a var. This is just gonna be a post. And it's going to be equal to a new HTTP, if I spell that right, HTTP post. And we're just going to be passing in the base the URI dot concat, because we're looking to connect to it. Oh yeah, we didn't even change that. Didn't even change that. Said I was going to change it. This is why you shouldn't do this high. Good to hear that you're doing, you're doing good. Yeah, it's cold out here too, man. We got a little bit of snow on the ground, and literally just had to pause my live stream for a sec to let the dog go, because, you know, Husky loves winter. You ever seen a video of a husky in the snow? Yeah, well, my big guy loves it. So this needs to go to universe / worlds. And from there, it's going to have something else added onto it, depending on where we're looking to go. So, for example, right here, this post that we're looking to make is going to be going to this URL / connect. And this is just going to be simply posting its I gotta get that in here as well. Post. Where did I have string entity? Don't remember. Cool. Found it. So I'm taking in the world DTO, and I need to add that to the body. So we're going to be doing this, and I should have actually sniped the rest of that from there as well, because I'm not looking to rewrite this or teach to write it, so I'm just doing this. There we go, line everything up. And now the response is going to be... This response is now going to be the HTTP client.execute our post. And that is going to be a closable response. And of course, if the object is null, meaning that there was nothing that came back, then there was just going to response with that. Here we have kind of a fail-safe is what this is. If for some reason I have to take down a back-end service, like the world service for a moment, and reboot it, if there is by chance a fraction of a second that it is, while it is down, a game server or game world comes down, that game world makes a logout request to a back-end service that is no longer there. So now, when the service comes back up, and the game world then says comes back up, makes a login request, it's now logged in twice. What this does is it does a check, so that when it sends a login request, one of the response types that can come back is a multi-status. And I use multi-status because honestly, it was the first thing that had the word multi in it, and I wasn't making my own status codes. So I decided to use this multi-status code, and what I have here is, while trying to connect to the universe, we've noticed that you're still logged into a universe. So now we're going to go ahead and disconnect that first connection, or that other connection. So then I essentially send a logout request to the universe. Again, this is just more or less a fail-safe for that very rare chance that something could potentially go wrong. And again, I'm going to change this to the, if I can type, Clave Studios interface, and I'm going to get the mapper from there so that I'm not making a new instance every time something happens. That will help, personally help the program, in the sense that it's not going to be, what's the proper term? It's going to help in the sense that it's not going to be like recreating the wheel every time it has to do something. It's going to be a little bit less load bearing. Maybe not enough to write home about, but it's enough to be like, hey, overall, it's noticeable. So the next thing we want to go do is, now that this here, we're going to go ahead and create that logout. We'll just take this too with it while we go. Change them both to static when we get in there. So we're going to hop into here now and jump down, doop, doop, paste, look at that. Next. Static. Static. Okay. Now, okay, I'm gonna, that's the redundant bit, I believe. Saying goodbye to the universe, ba-ba-da-bum, and that makes a reply. That just then needs to execute. Okay, so I don't need the body. Do that. These are, I believe, posts, or at least one is. One's a put. Logout. Logout is a post. Okay. Saying goodbye. Post. Body. Does it take a body? Logout does take a body. Okay. Okay. And again, this response is just going to be the HTTP client dot execute the post. And that's just simply going to straight up reply back with whatever the hell it replies back with. But there is the log out post. There is the log in post. Next, what we need to do is update. So this is going to be a put. So we can pretty much put the same shit. Line this up. I'm going to go through all of this. Just call it put. This is going to be switched to put. Yeah. Import. Okay. And this is to update, which reminds me, this is to logout. There we go. All right. And once again, we'll rip through here, delete that because that's just silly. This is going to be http.execute put. There. So now we're creating a put request, we're executing the said put request, and printing out whatever it happens to say. Otherwise, we're logging an error if anything sort of goes sideways. So, yeah, there's that. We'll come back into here. And this connection, we're going to check out where it's going to. It just simply is a call to here, so we're going to call this to the Boneyard, if I can spell right. Boneyard World Client dot. And there we are. So now that's good with that, and I believe we can get rid of this world interface because it's the only place it's used there. And now this has no usage. We can get rid of this. And just for the sake of it, I'm actually going to copy that. And I'm going to stick that above here so that I keep the documentation with it. Yeah, I'm not really worried about that documentation. But we'll come into here, and again, this, import, no longer uses, perfect. That's been cleaned up, that's been cleaned up. That's been cleaned up. And now this gets used twice. So let's go take a look. Drop in our Boneyard client, import that. Get, whoops. Get where this one goes. Update that. Yes, import the class. Boom. So now that's done. No usages. We can get rid of this. This has 2 implementations. Doesn't need it. Ignore the fact that my thing is humongous. There's that. Logout. So now this only has 1 usage. Oh, which is apparently just in an import. Okay. So now this has no usages. So again, hit the target, find the class, and delete. Done. Now inside of here, it still has a few implementations. However, we can now jump back to here and see that now we just have 4. We're down from 9, I think it was 9, to just the 4 usages. So this is the old deprecated link or endpoint. So the kingdom one I'm not worried about. Trade one I am. So now we come into our trade. And I have to jump back into this trade one as well, because this is our updated one that I had. And this is looking to make a post request to a sales bot, and it is passing in a body. Okay. Copy this, take it into the trade post. This is going to be a post, and offline sale. So static, sending this. Okay. So now let's go ahead and refactor this based on other posts. So take this, and that's our client. Body is officially gone. We have it done in a better way. We're making a post. So this is where we're taking the post. So this is going to be the base URL dot concat sale. Response is HTTP client and post. That means this is never used, and everything else can stay the same. Whoops. So now we're taking the offline sale as the post, and we're good. So now we're gonna go back into our trade post, check out where this is used. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna call this the Boneyard Trade Post Client. Boom. And now that is using the same thing. So now we've gone ahead and refactored and redone this. So now this one has no more. Um, this has no more use. Gone. Um, Offline merchant. Process offline. Okay. Do I have a way to return a trade post offer DTO based on a merchant and an offer? I suppose I could pull these. Mm-hmm. And then make sure that an offer matches an offer. Okay, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Take this, stream it in, make sure the offer matches the offer. So let's go ahead and we're just gonna copy that for now. Come into wherever the hell. Yeah, you're useless. Where were we? In here. Because this is just a trade post offer DTO. This is a trade post offer that I happen to be formatting to a data offer. No. Yeah, okay, this is all of the data code. Okay. And a trade post offer. So okay, no, this is actually using it. Okay. This is already doing it. Oh. Okay, so that can stay. Um that being said, I take this, put this in here. Um There's that. So now if I come back into here, look at this, go to here, I could technically just start going to the Boneyard Trade Post client. And that now uses this. Cool. So now I can come out of here and we can delete this class. So now everything is using from here. Okay. Stop the project. Go ahead and build it just to make sure it works. Alright. Find out if this works. Make sure there's no errors. It's taken a minute to rebuild, but I mean, it is a large project. Kind of a monolithic thing itself. The next thing I break down. Oh yeah, we might take a look at this too, the launcher. It's an FX project, Java FX. That's another thing that I could be technically teaching people about. Because Java FX is definitely better than using Swing. If you're using Swing, it looks very 90s. Alright, so it's writing the classes. I parsed it anyway, so... Yes, I might be getting a sneak peek of that here on this video, too. Cool, so that all seemed to have built, so... I'm going to relaunch my game server, make sure it goes. Make sure there's no errors. Oh yeah, dude, this Amazon deal is it's floating me by though, man. It's getting me through. I could be more efficient. I could be getting things done faster and better. Oh, look at that. For those of you one, oh come on now. To it, oh, God damn it. There we go. Jesus. Here was it logging into the backend world service. New world registered to the universe. World 1, boneyard, population of nothing, and then my local PC machine because I'm on my local router. But that was it logging in. Took its time, and by the looks of it, it had a connection that I don't think was me. I'm not even, yeah, I'm not even there. All right, so that is exciting. That worked. Um, Other ways to sort of kind of test this now to make sure would be to have somebody else log into my game and buy something that is been posted by an offline player. Um, but I mean, technically everything worked before, and all I did was just totally swipe out where it was. It just, yeah, I'm still using the same system. I'm just rearranging where things are posted. I'm just sort of cleaning up the wires behind the scene. Ever walk into an IT closet, look at a server? Yikes. If you've ever walked into a fucking to a server room and you've seen the back end wires where they're crisscrossing everywhere, they're like overflowing through the ceiling, like yeah, that is your monolithic program right there. You want to break that down into a bunch of different little server rooms, tidy up them wires, and just clean that shit up. So now we're fully utilizing the client from everywhere. It So let's jump back into here. Now we see just the 3 usages that are left, and the only 3 usages that are there are for the Kingdom client, which I'm going to leave for now, just strictly because it's deprecated and yeah. But now there are places like apparently a game controller that implements this network. No, no, you don't. No, I didn't think so. Um, my logger, which apparently shouldn't. Doesn't. No, didn't think so. Network, sure. The Kingdom network, again, I'm going to leave for now. But OSBY network, which has one implementation, which is essentially the Kingdom network, which has two usages, which are Kingdom network and the import of the Kingdom network. Okay. So now this has two things, which is from within itself. You have one usage. You have one usage, which is from the Kingdom. Mapper is being used. Yes, you're being used a bunch. And ultimately, I will be renaming this class because it's no longer a network interface, like it used to be. So after I finish reformatting and pulling all this stuff, that's not even pulling the right web key. Well, technically it is for its thing because it's using an old one, so I'll leave that for now. Only used. Okay, so yeah, no, that's everything done. That's it. We've done it. We've officially broken down the old monolith. It has now been segregated into 11 services, and from there it has, you can see the 11 services here that are running, and the various port numbers that they are running on. So this is kind of exciting in a way that now this has been completely done, and now this is set up so that I can grow and scale it at a better rate. I can have my junior developer finally jump on board and learn some Spring Boot and get him into this. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty excited. And that means that this is now using all the right stuff as well, so that's also, again, pretty exciting. Now, the last thing I've been picking at recently is actually my Java FX program. So this is sort of a little different side. This is a little sneak peek extra tidbit for this video. So in here, I've been redesigning the way that my launcher looks. I've been using Java FX and Scene Builder so that I can do a drag and drop way of interfacing through here and building this. So if I was to go ahead and run my launcher, it's going to go ahead and check for versions, but here it is. Minimize that, minimize that. So this is my launcher here. I can fix the cache, and it will simply delete the previous versions and revert itself to version 0. I just have to finish up changing the version numbers. I can hit update game, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to update the game and the client. Let me get this back up. You'll see that it's going through it, updating, and eventually you'll see that it's going to tidy it up. There we go, saving the local cache. So now I can come here and click on launch game, and it's essentially going to bring up my client. Now, it basically preloads the client and the cache so that things can, and this is actually not even my, that's connecting to the live game. It's not even connecting to my proper one. To get connected to the proper one, I need to go to my local host version, which is just a little bit better in my opinion. I've added some new features. I've done some new tweaks, to which reminds me, I also have to tweak the existing high scores, because right now, if I was to search up a user, this searches my backend, which goes to my old system. I could search up anyone that's on my, that's in, okay, I forget, apparently I forget your other name there, Steven. But I can search up anybody else's net now. I can't even type my own name. I can search up anybody and find their stats, their combat, yada yada. I'm going to be updating this so that it's a little bit better. I might actually do a live stream where I'm updating these plugins. If you want me to do if you want me to do a live stream where I update these plugins, like so that like it's cool to the private server scene to see how the hell to do shit, go ahead and smash that like button or drop me a comment. Let me know that you yeah, there we go. Grab his. This is Steven's stats on my game, on a live game. Um, again, if you want me to do a little live stream where I'm updating these plugins and editing that, go ahead and let me know. Hit the like button, drop a comment, hit me up on Discord, something. Let me know you want to see it, and I will make it happen. See, like right there, you need to fix it on yours. I bet you there's 100 people out there that are using that. What you're using, the Chrono space, I believe it is. I'm sure there's a few hundred people out there that are using that same base that wouldn't mind knowing how to update their RuneLite client so that they're pulling their own personal high scores versus pulling from the actual Jagex high scores. Because let's face it, nobody wants to look up the real game. We just want to see what's what in ours. So yeah, I'm totally cool with showing how I tweak that, showing how I change that. It's literally just the open OSRS client. And I don't know if that's the same one that Kronos uses, but it's the one that I use. It might be. I'm not sure. If it is, it'll make life even easier. If not, I'll grab yours, Steven, and we'll maybe just do it on yours. But yeah, that'll totally be something I'm cool with doing. That being said, now, for those of you out there that start to play the game, you're going to notice that there is, I'm going to clear this out, drag this up. You're going to notice that there's a little bit of time when you hit that actual login button and when you actually get in game. And that's strictly because it goes through a bunch of security checks in the background. And you'll notice that it's updating the worlds and it's taking a little longer than normal to bring up the pro. Oh, what am I not pointing to? Oh well, it ran through the checks. It took a hell of a lot longer than it should have, but it got me in. Woo, home. And yeah, if you're interested in checking out the game, by all means, we are dropping on, we're dropping in like 5 days. I've just recently added in the collection logs. I recently added in some achievements that you can go through and burn through. I've added in a bestiary where you can actually search for NPCs and whatnot, search for drops. Here I intend to add in a bunch more settings for things like whether or not you want to so say if you want to not receive offline messages, or if you want to not receive Discord alerts, or like if you want to toggle things. I have a settings tab that I'm going to be adding things into for that. Oh, buddy, my PC is screaming. I actually have, thanks to OBS, the broadcasting studio, and this new mic I have is it noise cancellation. You can't hear it as much, but literally these are like I have music going as well. If you want to check out the playlist, I have literally had music thumping as well. I can't hear myself speak so much as I talk, so if I'm a little loud, a little quiet, I do apologize for that. But literally, I can hear my graphics card just ripping. I can hear it just spinning and just going. But yet, I can't hear anything else. Like, this Amazon PC is getting me through. That's just not a permanent solution. I've got 2 IntelliJs, 3 IntelliJs. three IntelliJs running. I've got one of them is hosting not 11 services as far as microservices go, or like 11 applications running technically. And then the game server, which I also have running. And you'll notice that I'm only using up about 2.5 gigabytes of RAM, so it's not too bad for that. But oh man, this yeah, I've got a much better setup now, which I intend to use when I'm recording my videos as well, because it's going to be just overall better quality for my viewers, which is ultimately what I've been trying to get, is better quality videos and better quality sound. But like, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm doing what I can, but glad to know that it sounds way better. That's good to know. Uh, So that being said, I think I'm gonna be wrapping up this live stream. Other than that, because honestly, other than just picking at bits of code that's just day-to-day mundane updates, or like actually, like honestly, like I've got a, I don't know. There's not really a lot of fun stuff or interesting stuff that I'm doing right now. Uh, I suppose I could do this. So what I'm doing here, is basically nano commits, or like atomic commits, or however you want to call them. Um, and you'll see that I've got a big list of stuff that has been done, but um, the idea behind and yeah, I'd love to have a little chat and catch up, dude. I got a lot of stuff to do a little bit later on in the day, but as for right now, yeah. Um, yeah. So atomic commits. Atomic commits are basically a way that I have a lot of stuff here that you can see that I've done. But the idea is to narrow it down to something small and bite sized. So I don't want to go ahead and commit all of these into one big ass commit, because if I do that, let's face it, it's going to be kind of painful later on. And I've learned this the hard way multiple times in multiple applications. And I even tried to rush something about a few weeks ago, and oh my god, it led to me doing, I think it was 18 hours of refactoring code and re-adding in and changes and merging and updates, and it was a pain in the ass because I had to trace what left, what 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 was a huge ass bug. Um, so yeah, atomic commits. Do atomic commits. Don't ever bulk commit something. Don't ever do it. If you're gonna bulk commit something, bulk a whole bunch of atomic commits. Again, the idea is that you want to do something small. Like right here, I'm just saying this is January 20th. I'm stating the date, and this is a quick little thing, what it is, the trade post network. And the reason I do it like this is so that if I come back and look into my Git history, this is what I see, is the date and what it is. So then I can click on it, see what files were done, look over it, and see what was done and who did it and what went on. But again, at a quick glance, it tells me that apparently I've spelt January wrong for a while, but apparently on Jab 19th, 2014, there was clue scroll updates, and I can see that. Um, and it just, it's personally, from me, it's just an easier way that I found things, because then I leave my notes about what was done here. So here we've changed the endpoints, um, to use the new micro services, removed old type, remove old unused classes. So you'll see that we can now we want to go ahead and tick off or check off all of the classes that essentially had to do with this. So we know that the trade post network service was deleted. Trade post actions was updated. Scroll through, and there was a couple of others that were also changed within this specific commit. I want to say it was inside of player, maybe not. There was somewhere for offline sale. And this is generally why it's a good idea to keep track of what you were doing. Process the offline. Okay, that was the offline order itself there. Okay. So now we can go ahead and make that commit. And that was just the next, we're going to say the Discord network. And here we basically did the exact same thing. We changed the endpoints to use the new microservices, and we moved all unused classes. So we can come through here again and just take a look to see if we removed the Discord client. We've updated the Boneyard Discord client, and before we do anything, we're going to amend our last commit to also include that we have included the new Boneyard client. So amending is something that you do if you, just like I caught that, you can amend the last thing, so that would essentially add it on to the last one. It allows you to, if you realized you forgot a couple of things in that past package, it allows you to open that back up essentially and tuck in a few more things with it. But now I want to go ahead and the Discord network. So we going to the Discord client, we removed this one, and we've made changes in the player file for it for it to send a Discord alert. Didn't touch that one. Didn't touch any of those. Okay. So we can go ahead and commit that. And that's another atomic commit. We're going to say world client or world network. And within the world network, we have this world client. We got rid of the old client, and as well as we've touched in on here for logging out. We've touched in on social lists for logging out. We have touched in on player, with the world. We have touched on the login with the world. Login verification. Okay, that apparently goes back with the Discord client. So we're going to go back to amend with Discord. Unselect what we had selected. And we're going to be including the login verification. And we'll go ahead and add that. Swap back to this code. And the world. Not there. Apparently that was also in the Discord. Oh, yes, because I added new things in there. That's right. Well, now it's going to amend and amend. Oh, it pays to pay attention. So we're gonna try this again. Game item, I believe that was with the network. That was with the network. World, yes, that was added. Profile has nothing to do with it. And activity timer has nothing to do with it. Cool. So, done with the world network. Get rid of that. The Glave Studios network, where we have removed the unused classes. We've also removed the implementations. If I can type. Oh my goodness. You know what? Thank you. So this is where we got rid of this. We got rid of the interface, which we also took care of the game controller, which lost the OSBY one. This one also lost. Oh, it was part of the world and the other, but whatever. At that point. Boneyard profile controller, which apparently I don't know why I put that there. Okay. We did make a change into here where we added the content, so profile, that will make an atomic commit by itself. All right, so now oh right, I removed the unused webhook. Ah, shit. Hey, Tyler. I actually was throughout the whole start of the video. Sorry, I just missed your comment there. Throughout the start of the video, we finished up adding in the last of the things that needed to be implemented. I added up I had to add in a new bit to the or a new controller. Not a controller. I had to add a new endpoint to migrate some of the Discord messages and alerts over, as well as I took a sneak peek at the Java FX program that I've been tapping at here over the last couple days, because when my server launches in 5 days, I want to give them something new, something better than my old launcher. So now they'll have this option here where they can fix the cache, update the game, or just straight up launch the game. I have a couple of extra things to tweak on it, like such as going through, and I have to make sure on the dashboard side here when I come through, I need to finish implementing that. I get the latest version and that I set it the text label to it. But to be honest with you, right now, if I do that and run it, it throws me an error telling me that the value is null. And I have to do a little research on why, because I can't remember. It's been like 2 years since I've touched FX, and I can't remember why. I thought it was the fact that I wasn't labeling it with an FXML annotation, but turns out that's not the issue. But other than that, once I figure that out, I'm going to be changing up the so that the launch button is disabled if there's an update required, making it so that the update required or update client is enabled. I have a way here that I'm launching a jar, so I'm building a process builder. Basically, if you were to open up your if you were to open up your terminal and you type in Java, add in a parameter for some to give it some allocation RAM for the RAM to a maximum of a gigabyte, and then you want to execute a jar, and then you want to tell it where the game is. It's essentially the same thing as when you open up a terminal and you write in a command line. You take a process builder and you pass in all of those arguments. Each of those strings would be an argument. I can totally get into a video on that at some point if you guys are interested in learning about process builders and how to like use one application to execute another application and like whatnot, and then even how to verify that that process has been built and running, and how to check through and make. Like I used to write security applications for a while, and like, yeah, I could totally teach you some interesting stuff. Um, but we're essentially kickstarting a process, and that's just kickstarting the game, and then um, after it does that, it just waits for a second and then terminates itself. Down when you first click on fix cache, since it deletes the file the file that's basically the local version. I then want it to be able to. I then want to enable the update client and disable the launch button, because you're clearly just deleted your cache. You wanna fix it, so you shouldn't want to run it. Just more or less a couple pieces of housekeeping that I need to finish up on here, but I need to search to see. I can't, because it's been a while. I need to figure out why this is null. I could ask my. This is why I love it. I love this. I could ask my AI to explain it to me, but at the same time, I got a little plugging and playing to look for that, because it's, as you can see, it's even recommending me code, and like, this is why I love the AI built in with this. I don't think that's why it's null. Let's put a breakpoint, run that in debug mode. Yeah, pulling the latest version as 11.2, and it is a string, but right here is null. Version label. All of these are null, and I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be wrapping those. Oh, buddy, like there's so many things that are worth it in this. Earlier I was showing off. What the fuck am I got going on here? Stop. I was showing off this earlier, Tyler. Um, that like I've got full out spring control of this. I can check through different modules. I can look for specific beans if I wanted to. I can select through the different modules that I want to view in. I can look for all of my endpoints. I can again do the same idea, select the modules or the microservices that I want to see, and I can tells me right here whether they're post or connect. I can double click on that and it will come in right to it. Better than that, like this kind of excites me. Like I want to do a video for IntelliJ, dude, not gonna lie. But like if you click on this, right middlemost click on it, it's gonna do a search to see where that endpoint is used. So if that endpoint is actually used somewhere within the project, it'll even tell you the class, the line, it'll take you to it. Because you middlemost click and it either takes you to the definition, or if you're at the definition, it takes you to search for all of the declarations or all of the usages. And like down here, I can, because I use Spring Boot and I use microservices, I have this little panel here for services. Now I can run all of my Spring Boot services in here. It gives me a viewport to see all of the endpoints that I have going. Not only that, I can fire up a Docker service in here if I want to. I can fire up some Kubernetes in here if I wanted to, and I can manage it all from one place. On top of that, I can come over here to my right-hand side and jump into my databases and be connected to all of the different databases that I have. And I have all of this connection from one place, and I can like full out like middle mouse click on the different things that are in here. Like if I wanted to, whoop, yeah, I need to be logged in, but I'm already logged in. If I wanted to look at some of the columns or like these IDs, if I was to just look for the usages, it gives me the DL, it gives me all the information I need to generate these files. If I was to just copy that and throw it into a SQL file, my system will generate it by default. I can, if I go into my actual project that has something that, where am I at there? Trade post, economy, services. If I go into my data level and I look at a trade post listing, like I can come in here, and I didn't for this one apparently, but let's drop this into here. I can give this guy here a name. We'll call this exact same thing it's called here. But then I can come in here, and if I was to say table and give this a name of a table, let's see if I can connect this to a data source first. I can assign the data source, which I want it to be the trade post one. And now I can just have that auto-complete that I want it to be here. And again, if I middle mouse click on it, it takes me directly to it on the database table, so I can then go and look through that. I can annotate all of these with column and whatever their thing is. Username. And again, it will take me directly to where it is. I can slap on a few more annotations on there, and like, well, I guess this is more why I love Spring Boot than anything, but I can map to databases. I can simply tell it here, show me the DLL for it. I can actually bring up a SQL. I can bring up a command prompt where I can write my own SQL queries. Um, like I can manage databases. I have this amazing AI that I can chat with, which is a separate feature. but also I've got things that are like a JPA designer. A JPA is the Java persistence library, so it basically allows me to, well, let's take a look at this. Why are you not helpful there now, dog? There we go. Okay. So here it shows me all of the different things in here, all of their attribute types. So if I was to select one, like say username, you'll see here where it comes up with a whole bunch of data. I can specify, I can change the name here. It's a string type. I can state whether I want it to be transient or not. I can come down and correct all these others. I can tell it the fetch type, which whether I want it to be eager or lazy. I can tell it all sorts of things, whether I want it to have a specific length size on that string value inside of my database. Like if I want, like, so for example, a username is no more than 12 characters, I could simply just sell it, no more than 12 characters. And then it's gonna lock that constraint to 12. And like, I can assign getters and setters. I can change this. Like, there's a whole bunch of tools inside of IntelliJ that make things even easier. And that's just from like a back-end aspect. I can connect to databases. I can check out all my I can even go, even the coverage when you get it is amazing. The profiling tool is amazing. The debugging tools that are in here are just beyond. Like, if you're not using IntelliJ, and this video is totally not sponsored by them, but if you're not using them, use them. There's the community edition that you can get to get your feet wet. There's I believe they have a 30-day free trial you can use of the Ultimate Edition to really get your feet wet in the specific tools. Unique to this, this might be kind of fancy to you, Tyler. I can click the middlemost button and drag it down. Notice how I have multiple places where I can now edit my text. So I can start writing text in multiple places at the same time, which is handy as fuck. But not only that, if I hold Control, Alt, and Shift, I can click anywhere I want, and now I'm editing in multiple places at once and writing text in multiple places at once, which is incredibly handy if you happen to be writing through a whole bunch of, say, enumerations, or whoop, deleted that too much. If you're like editing through an enum, or the hell did I do there that made that wrong? But yeah, it's incredible. And like, honestly, oh yeah, by the way, Tyler, I'm not really sure of your exact level of Java knowledge, but I'm going to be doing, I also talked about this in the beginning of the live stream. I'm going to be putting together a beginner level Java video series where I'm going to explain things like what TDD, test-driven development, what that is, what it means, what OOP is, and how to think more like an OOP. I'm going to be doing things like explaining what the JDK is versus the JRE, because there is a difference. They're not the same thing. And I'm going to be sort of explaining some of the basics a bit of Java. I had a few of my viewers request this from me for over the last few weeks. So I've been having some brainstorms and ideas, and I'm going to build a Spring Boot project. But I'm going to do so in a way that I'm going to be explaining how things are, what things are, and try to take you through the steps. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing it in like a business-oriented way. So I'm going to be building an application that's going to have you thinking like a developer. I'm going to talk through my thought processes, explaining all this other stuff. And I'm not really sure if it's going to be a live stream or a video series. I'm thinking it's going to be a video series, but at the same time, I would really love some other people's feedback if they'd like to see it as a live stream and get involved because like that's something that I would love to have, is to have people get involved with it, and like while I'm explaining and talking about these things, have people question me. Like, I love questions. I love questions. I love to be questioned. I'm weird. Ooh, just throw this out there too, guys. Another great thing about IntelliJ, you'll really love this. If you're paying on a monthly standard or a monthly rate, every year that you have a continuous cycle, you get a discount. I went from paying full price to after I think it was 3 or 4 years, I was paying literally, I think it was 60% discount of what I was getting, just because after the first year I got 20% off. The second year I got another 20%, another 20%. And the longer that you keep up with continuous payments with IntelliJ, it seems like they keep dropping the price as long as you're like somebody who's been like with them for years, essentially, like a loyalty system, which I think is something that's fucking amazing from a developer's point of view, to be able to get, like, I didn't even know that I was getting, like, I was just paying it out, then not, and just expected it to be this $16 charge every month for years. And I happened to look at my thing one day and it's like, wow, no, I'm paying like $6 for this, I think, at one point. I was like, holy shit, when did this fucking happen? And I started going back through, and I noticed that if you do continuous yearly, monthly pay, like monthly payments on a yearly, every year that you complete, or 12 months that you have a continuous payment with them, they drop the price for you, which again is just fucking amazing, because I'm getting all of these tools and all of these things for a hell of a lot less than I thought I was. But I've been using them for years. The AI you can actually get without it. The AI is a separate thing that you get. It's $10 a month, but oh my god, is it amazing? Because, like, let's look at my world controller here. Now, if you're somebody that likes documentation, or you're people that like require documentation, I can come into my AI and I can ask it here to write me documentation, which is going to explain what this code does. That was pretty slick. I can right click on the method and I can ask it to explain this code, or I can ask it to explain the whole thing. But if I ask it to explain just this code, this beast is going to come through and explain it to me. If I have a problem and want to know something, I can just ask it. And it's more tailored to you as a developer. It's more tailored to developers as a whole. And, like, honestly, one of the other things you can do is you can do an AI action, find problems. Yes, find problems. Have it search your code and look for problems. Tell you where the problems are, and then tell you how to fix said problems. What? Yeah, AI is amazing. $10 a month. Like, this is better than Copilot, in my opinion. 'Cause this, unlike Copilot, this learns you as you develop. And it's already studied GitHub and Bitbucket and just about every open sources that there are for code. Like, again, I would love to do a video just repping IntelliJ, but like I don't know how that would go over with them. But like, there's so many things about IntelliJ, about JetBrains. Like, even if you're a web developer, if you're a C++ developer, they have IDEs for that as well, which again use all of these same features. Now, I've used Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, and that shit's like a Tesla. If you want a real badass car, like Ferrari, Lamborghini, something truly slick, you want IntelliJ. That has the get up and go to make any project that you do that used to take you weeks take you hours. Like, I don't know if it'll check your entire project. No, I don't see an AI action over there. But you can more or less check each of your see, here's the thing. If you ask it to check your file for an error, it's actually going to read the file, and if your one class is making executions on other classes, um, just give me a second here. Come on. This is the other thing that it has is a diagram feature, which it'll go through and it'll fetch and it'll tell you everything that is in touch with this. So this will essentially build you a diagram of the world controller and tell you that it does have request mappings. It could utilizes the different things that it utilizes, because it doesn't utilize any other class. That's a really bad example. But the idea is, if you ask the AI to check if your code has a problem, like this class, if that class calls other classes and implements other classes, it's going to check all of those, and it digs a rabbit hole. Like, it's amazing how it does it. Like, it's just, there's so many reasons why I am a JetBrains advocate and why I love their tools. Like, I've used everything. I got into code and starting things out back in the days of DOS. I used to use the black screen, green text, write a command, open a file, create a file, go into a file, populate it with code, with things, save it, exit it, get out of the file, back out, create a new file, go into it, write code, do this, come back out, go back out, go in, compile, run. Oh, there's an error, K, change directory, go in. I used to go through the command prompt way of writing code, and then I went into the notepad way of writing code, and then I went into the notepad plus plus, and then I've been through just about everything out there from I stuck with IntelliJ, but I've touched on Vim code, VS code, I've touched on NetBeans, I've touched on Eclipse, which used to be my favorite until I discovered um, IntelliJ. And once IntelliJ blew my mind, I was done. I was done. I was in bed with them. And I'm stuck with them. And I am a huge advocate for them, because I wish that it was something I was told when I was a junior developer. I wish somebody had introduced me to IntelliJ and got me into it earlier. So that is what I love to do, is inspire younger developers to get on board now. Use it now while you're still trying to learn, because it will learn with you. It will learn you, and it will better you. And I totally just spent like half hour talking about how great they are. That said, I was actually going to be wrapping the video up until Tyler asked what we were doing today. But yeah, my next video, I believe, is actually going to be see, I'm not really sure because I got a few things I need to finish up. I'm mainly kind of like, other than my beginner series that I'm going to be starting, I don't know exactly. I might continue this series if people would like me to. If so, let me know. But as far as this goes, we've actually got everything broken down from the monolithic program. We got everything busted into 11 different services, and we have all of those 11 services now, thanks to this video, all implemented and tidied up. So the only thing that's really left to do is just sort of redundant, mundane updates, maintenance, bug tests, and make sure that everything's um, going on copacetically. Now, I do plan to do some live stream bug tests in my Discord. If you happen to want to join it, let me know. I'll send people links. But it's going to be the Boneyard Discord. I'll be live streaming in there in voice chats, doing some bug tests, bug checks. I'm going to probably be in there for probably the rest of the day. I'll probably be live streaming in there to to finish up my launcher and to finish up the errors that I got to look over with that. Um, but in the meantime, I actually have to go get a bite to eat because I'm a little late for that. I'm diabetic, so I kind of got to keep on schedules. But yeah, if you guys wanna, if you're interested in that next in that beginner series, by all means, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and make sure you get notified when I make them. I will be doing some live streams related to it because I also want people to have the chance to be able to get involved with me and ask me questions while we're doing it, because I think that's very helpful for people to learn, is to be able to not just watch a video but like ask a question to the video. Because I don't know again how many times I have as a junior developer way back in the day, um, wished that there was somebody that could have explained things a little bit better to me, like explained object-oriented programming rather than let me kind of figure it out myself. Have people tell me what exactly test-driven development means and what design-driven development meant and what it means to do, like what all these fancy terms meant. What for the longest time, like when I first early got on, I gave the mistake of giving everybody the JDK that I was using, and they're like, here, you need this in order to run this program. When no, you don't. You don't need the JDK. The JDK is a development tool that is packed full of extra development tools like profilers and debugging, and you don't need all that extra payload on your endpoint users' computers. All they simply need is the runtime environment and just the bare bones. But I, as a very early junior developer, made the mistake of not knowing the difference. And I didn't feel comfortable asking those stupid questions in the communities that I was in, because the communities that I was in, there were so many more well-rounded developers that seemed so much better than me, and I didn't want to seem like the small guy in the crowd. So I kind of lurked in communities for a long time, and I self-taught and I learned from mistakes, and I was sort of shy in the sense to ask questions because nobody wants to ask the stupid question and then get burned on the internet for it, because you might get the answer, but you gotta sift through the fucking ashes to find it. And it's a very difficult way to learn. So, I don't know. I wish that I had somebody teach me the ropes when I was a junior developer, rather than just learn from the wolves and get into the fire. So, um, ultimately, I'm hoping that my beginner series that I'm looking to kickstart maybe next week, um, I'm really hoping that that's going to get some grounds to get developers in there and get them in the right mindset, help them. Yeah, I've been self-taught since 2001. 1997, I got my family PC and I got down the rabbit hole of tech and how technology works, how computers worked, what the hell they were, and I was really interested. And then I did a lot of taking them apart, building them, figuring out how they work, and then I learned that they spoke a different language, and that you could program them to do things. And so that started to really interest me, and I got into like scripting and batch code essentially in 2001. So that dates me right there. I am 33. I was a 90s baby. I got into technology when I was 7 years old. I got into code when I was 11 years old. I started down the road of just simply opening up the command terminal, IP config. Ooh, that's cool. What's this do? Net scan. Checking out how I can scan a network for different things, how I can ping external networks, how I can trace a network domain to an IP, how I can then dump information. And I got into scripting, and then I got into Python, um, which seemed to make things a lot easier and more structured. And then I eventually learned that um, in order to write like a front-facing physical application people can like double-click, open up, and interact it with, I needed to do that in a language other than Python, other than Batch. So I started learning Excel at first, and I started to learn Visual Basic, VBA, so that way people could interact with spreadsheets and and that was interesting in a way for a while. And then somebody told me about Java, and I got into Java, and I realized that there's these, so I can use Java and Swing, and I could make different applications, and then I could even make it so that one thing does another thing. And I discovered that I can use a mixture of things with Java as well, and that if I open up a program, I can execute a Python script, and I can fill up some data, and I can execute um, uh, I could open up Excel sheets or like CD sheets and display them, and in another way. And I learned how to manipulate that. And then I learned that, well, this seems very simple, but I don't like the business aspect of it. I'm kind of a gamer. And then I learned that, oh, well, I can use Swing to make paint, and I can paint a circle on the screen, and I can move that circle with keyboards. And I realized, well, that's kind of cool. And that I also realized if I could do other things, like if I held shift and I could move other shapes around the screen, and it got really interesting. And around 2011, I had actually written my very first phone game. And this was not for your smartphone. This was for a phone that was like a flip phone or like a slide the phone. I actually have a video on YouTube of that game, um, and I'll be more than happy to show it. It's actually really interesting, and it's something I'm kind of proud of. Because I did that before the days. Like I wrote that in NetBeans. Yeah, NetBeans is what I wrote that in. And it was sort of my introduction to IDEs, if you will. And yeah, I learned a lot from that. I've then, after I made that cell phone game, I then made a text-based game, and I realized that I can put images up, and I could swap images out, and I could add images in, and I did it in a really bad way before I learned that there was ways to execute these in a thread-safe manner. And then I started to learn more about threading and multi-threading, and I was already I was already running a parallel life of being down the road of technology, because by 2008, this is again before I wrote that, in 2008, I opened up my very first company, which is Glab Tech, which is just a simple tech repair store, if you will, like, because I got into technology, and I was sort of like that network nerdy kid who knew how to fix computers, hack computers, get into things, and I was the guy that knew how to fix things. And people came to me, here, it's broken, fix it. And I'd be like, well, what's wrong with it? It's broken. Okay, well, whatever. New toy to toy with. I like to pick things apart, and I like to get down and dirty with figuring out why things work, how things work, why things don't work. So I had a tech company that I opened up just out of high school in 2008. Um, and then in 2011, when I made this phone game, I needed something to back it, so I actually made Glab A Studios, which is what I'm running this YouTube channel as. And it was based around more of technology in the sense of code design, software, networking. I had an Onion site for a little while. I used to offer pen testing. I used to offer a whole bunch of things because I've got kind of a wide variety behind me, or a background behind me. But I primarily love and absolutely love doing software engineering and networking, which is sort of what led me back into the private server scene and led me to begin writing my own server base from scratch, because I wanted the challenge and I wanted to know if I could do that from scratch. Yeah, I was amazed when I like at how the hardware aspect of things worked, and then when I started learning that I can write the code for the software aspect that the hardware runs, and then like, oh, that opened up that was a rabbit hole. So many rabbit holes that I went down. But we'll have to, if you're around later on, Tyler, jump in my Discord, and when I'll be doing a stream then, when I'll be talking more about different things, and I'll be talking more in depth with people as well. But as for now, this live stream is getting a little long, and I got to get something to eat before my stomach starts to hate me. I've also got stomach paralysis, so I have to eat on certain times, otherwise I wind up in the hospital, which is where I've been for the last few days. So to avoid that again, I'm uh I'm gonna go get a bite to eat, and if you guys are around and want to check me out on Discord, by all means, I'll be more than I'll most likely be live in the next like hour or so on Discord. Um, yeah, I look forward to chatting with you. Look forward to hanging out. If anybody wants to jump in the voice call with me and just chat, by all means, I love to chit chat, obviously. Thanks for sticking around. If you've come this long and you haven't already subscribed, by all means, why haven't you? So if you want, also if you wanna be in on that, if you want to be part of the beginner series, by all means, jump in my Discord and get involved with the community. Um, I love to talk to the community. I love to get communities involved. I love to help. I love to teach. Yeah. Well, take care, everybody. Keep that coffee cup full. Keep your curiosity open and your skills sharp. Question everything, and don't fear to get it wrong. Just learn another way to do it.